Wanna talk? So let's talk. Yeah. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk.
Good evening, and welcome. This is Talk to Solomon. That's me, Stan Solomon, my co-host tonight,
Chief Steve.
my friend Chief Steve Davis, and from the great city of St. Louis, we have both entrepreneur and writer Dave Weinbaum. He's been with us several times before. David, how are you?
I'm good. You know, I was going to say I like coming on the show because I'm getting to like helping the elderly, but every week you look younger and younger, Stan. What's going on, man?
Now, I promised my producer, my director, my wife, and my Lord that I would be kind to you. So if you
I thought that was
say
kind.
one more mean thing, I'm going to have to make all those individuals unhappy, as I will cut you to shreds, which will take
have
quite a
no-
while, considering that you have consumed more McDonald's than most of the Lower East Side of Chicago.
You know, I heard you went in for a makeover, but they opted for a rebirth. That's what I heard. And apparently it's been done because I thought I was complimenting you. You look good, Stan.
Well, thank
Hi,
you.
Chief. How are you doing? I'm sorry you had to stand right next to the guy, but, you know, I think Stan looks good. What do you think, Chief?
It's wonderful. I'm happy, ecstatic.
By the way, would you put a little powder on your forehead? You're blinding us.
Yeah, well, tough.
I like your sensitivity.
Live with it.
Live with it.
Live with it.
All
You
right.
didn't send the makeup that I ordered. You didn't send the trailer that I wanted to live in as I'm doing this show.
Right.
I don't see any makeup
well,
artists anywhere.
I ordered the
What about
makeup.
hair? I need hair too.
I ordered the makeup, but it was in a 55-gallon drum, and they needed a sprayer to apply it, so it'll be there shortly.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, let's take our first story, because this is right down your alley, David. The Commerce Department, headed by whoever, has decided that they want to make all Arabs, let me read it correctly, Arab Americans should be labeled a disadvantaged minority. Now, since they haven't the IQ to not shove dynamite in their ears and blow their brains out, maybe they are disadvantaged. What do you think of the idea?
Well, first of all, Stan, I mean, you can't say that about all Arabs, okay? Some of them do that, okay? I agree that there is a plethora of a surprisingly amount of Arabs that do that, but not all of them do it. All right, so I have to state that first off. What do I think about that? I don't know. What do they get if they're plugged in as a minority? Do they
Well,
get government pennies or?
They go to the front of the line. They get stipends. They get subsidized. They get considered before others. They get to go on even though they haven't met the requirements, just like all the other quote-unquote minorities in this country. Basically, what we have is a situation where the majority of the people who do the right thing and play by the rules and work hard are penalized, and many, not all, but many who break every rule, including eating the faces off of people they don't have to like, get treated as if they never made any mistakes, that they don't need to pass the test, that they don't need to meet their credit requirements, that they don't need to, I don't know, be citizens, whatever the case may be. I, for one, think that we should be done with, quote unquote, special treatment for minorities in this country, unless it is those who actually work for a living, pay their taxes, and tell the truth.
Well, we're coming to a time in this country where I would agree that just throwing people out there as minorities and helping them by race, creed, color, religion should come to an end. Temporary help should be given to quote-unquote poor people who have had bad luck, but it only should be temporary, and it should be weaned off after a short period of time until they can get back on their feet. So I would agree with the general proposition that we should be beyond segregating people by race, color, creed, and religion to give them help. It should be based on tragedy and temporary relief at that.
Chief?
Well, I look at this as just another way for the government to pit Americans against Americans. And I don't know how does the government decide what a minority is? I mean, are you a full Arab or are you half Arab? Do you get more if you're half than you're a quarter Arab, or what the deal is? I don't understand that part. But first of all Americans should be granted what's in our founding documents, and that is that all men are created equal, and then life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. End of story. And so for us to do this as a government, it's just totally wrong. People should first of all go to their place of religious habitat for assistance. And if we don't look at what the government's record of helping minorities, look at the American Indians. They destroyed them. So this is just another method that the government's going to use to destroy another minority.
By the way, a lady running for Senate in Massachusetts claimed by high cheekbone that she was 132nd American Indian, none of it documented and none of it true, and yet has gotten all kinds of benefits. So I guess there's something to that racket. The American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, the ADC, petitioned Commerce to ask that Arab Americans be made eligible for minority business development, which means they be given set-asides in essence, because they're saying they've been discriminated against. Now the fact that they and or their brethren, they and or the people they cheer for, they and or the people they contribute to, they and the people that they support verbally, physiologically, and psychologically have done what they have done to Americans and other people in the world shouldn't be taken into consideration. It's just that they've had some disadvantage. Well, I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for anyone. I feel sorry for everyone, because it's a tough world out there. But I believe we should have rules. The rules should be fair rules, enforced rules, and everyone should work under them. I think that is how America kind of started, with some exceptions, but that is the best way to go from where we are to where we want to be, where we have a productive society. Dave?
Well, are you saying that you don't believe in any sort of help for poor people put out of a job, not their fault at all, Stan? Or are you for some kind of a temporary relief that they can get and then get off of, assuming a strict set of rules?
Thomas Jefferson said it best. No matter what the cause, government doesn't have the authority to take from one to give to another. No, government should not be in that role. This country did perfectly well for hundreds of years without government taking the place of mother, father, sister, brother, rich uncle, or anyone else. Churches, communities, good people, that's the answer. Let people keep their own money. Let people reach out to other people. And I guarantee you, nobody starved to death in this country prior to any kind of a government program, and no one will starve to death in this country after the elimination of government programs.
Okay, good point. I'm not sure if I agree with it. I got to think about it. There is a lot of mush in my skull, but I do have to think about it. If you went and eliminated welfare altogether today, I think it would be a bad thing. I think it would be something you would have to wean people off of over a period of time.
Well, do you remember when Clinton did exactly that? Not willingly,
yeah.
But with the Republicans, they said people be eating dog food. There'd be riots and blood in the streets. None of that happened. When people realized they couldn't stay on welfare more than 2 years, guess what they did? They found a job. Now, yes,
and I agree with that.
It should be overnight, but we can do it.
They weaned them off welfare after a period of time.
Yeah, maybe 2 years.
I agree with that.
Maybe 2 years.
And it worked. I agree. Absolutely agree. It worked. And why we came off of it is you're seeing why, because those people are expected to vote in the person who is paying them, Barack Obama.
Yeah. Oh, I asked you not to use profanity on this show, and there you blew it.
I'm sorry.
Do we have Larry by any chance? Yeah, all right. We'll have Larry Pratt here in just a moment. Chief, you want to come in here?
I just want to say that based on what Dave said, it's true. Americans, we're very compassionate people. we don't ever want to think about anyone being hungry or starving or a family that's destitute. So we never want to say no to these kind of programs. But what we're doing is we're destroying America. We're destroying Americans with these programs. It needs an act of tough love, but also if we reduce the amount of taxes that's needed to pay for these welfare programs, Americans will give more to charity that will take care of these people, will take care of itself in the long run without government being involved in it.
You know
well, the
that,
problem is it becomes counterproductive to what you really want, and that is people now expect money from the government. They don't expect to go to work. They expect that they are entitled to this money, and that's what is wrecking America. They have no ambition, nowhere to go except for the government payout, and they live their lives that way generationally, and it's a disaster. So, yes, we should get them off welfare, but they should be weaned off of it. As to whether or not people need a temporary aid, can that be done in the private sector? Maybe, but it's going to take some time to do that. You just can't cut people off overnight, I don't think.
Well, you know, Stan, there's also people in need often need more than just money. They oftentimes need some money, but also a hug or some money and a prayer. Government can never fulfill those other obligations or those other needs, but a charity or a church can provide that for people. They need more than just money. They need help.
and often when we go to our families, and we've all done that, I would assume, family loves unconditionally, but family normally doesn't give unconditionally. They're saying you're going to have to clean your room, or you're going to have to clean up your act, or you're going to have to try and get a job, or, and we'll work together to get you there. But no, you can't just, retire at age whatever, 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, and expect the family to support you. You don't ask that of family because family won't do it. Well, we need to get back to both the right to dignity and responsibility. All right, I think we now have Larry. Do we have Larry? Larry Pratt, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Stan.
We have with us Dave Weinbaum and Chief Steve, and I want to get right to letting you talk because we only have a short amount of time. Tell us what's happening in the Capitol when it has to do with Fast and Furious and Eric Holder.
Nothing yet. We see a slow walk on the part of the Republicans. There was some hope that there might be a move for a contempt of Congress citation. I guess that's still possible, but I don't know what they're waiting for. The evidence is there. Issa has, in fairness to him, circulated the book, if you will, some 60-page memo to the Congress showing that, in fact, Holder is guilty of a number of crimes. But on the other hand, we may have the problem right on his own oversight committee. There's some report that he may not have the votes in order to win a contempt citation vote.
And you know why. Everyone knows why. We're in election cycle. The Republicans distribute panties about this time of year so that all the guys can put them on. And they don't want to be called racist, and they don't want to be called mean. And so they do absolutely nothing worthwhile so that it can't be used against them in the election. Am I right or wrong?
I'm afraid you're quite spot on. What we need is for them to get a backbone to tell Mr. Holder and the media, I'm sorry, but your race card has expired, and point out that if you want to play the race card, why don't we look at the cavalier way that 300 Mexicans had their lives thrown away by a murder program designed by these folks in the administration?
Well, again, I agree. Chief?
Well, I made the comment before. I've heard elected Republicans say that they would rather lose than be accused of being mean or say something that would cause them to be called a name by the other side that's trying to destroy them and destroy our country, and yet we have Republicans that won't stick up for our country and for the people that elected them into office. It's
the Senator John McLuser style of campaigning so that we guarantee that we go into the fight with both hands tied behind our back, and then we whine about how much it hurts when our head is beat up.
Dave, when he said McLuser, I thought maybe that was a new offering from your company.
No, I don't think we've included you in any of the meals, Stan. Anyways, I just wrote a column on this. Timing is great. Great segue. Is it racist to vet Barack Obama? Oh, there I said it again. I'm sorry, but that's a good question, and that's what happened with McCain. Sarah Palin got in there and tried to drag him, kicking and screaming over the finish line because she wanted to vet Obama. She wanted to talk about Reverend Wright, Louis Farrakhan, Bill Ayers. She wanted to show his associations with Marxists, and McCain wouldn't have any part of it. All right, and that's what lost the election for them, in my opinion. If you watch the movie Game Change, the liberals think that Sarah Palin is evil for not trying to vet the president. I think it's the obligation of these candidates to tell us what the facts are in these elections. After all, it is the most important job in the world. I think it's almost borderline treason and it's helping to abet and aid someone who may be a criminal if you don't tell what you know about them. And
Larry?
Here we go again with Mitt Romney refusing to talk about Reverend Wright. I blasted him a little bit too. I mean, get with it, grow a pair, and start talking about what this man has done and what he's still doing.
Yeah, he's got a record now. So in addition to the GD Reverend, there's just a bloody record. And if Romney won't do it, we've got to hope that Rove's Super PAC or one of the others will get in there and do what needs to be done, because the half of the country that doesn't listen to conservative talk radio needs to know that they are backing a murder regime. These people are guilty of complicity to commit murder, and to not point that out is to tell me they don't care about justice. They'd get in there and be the attorney general and probably would just do nothing at all.
Well, when we have an attorney general basically saying that they're not going to prosecute if the complainant is white and the alleged perpetrator is black, but they will prosecute if the perpetrator is white and the complainant is black. To me, that disqualifies him from practicing law, much less being attorney general.
One would think, but he has the full support of President Obama. I said it again. He has the full support of him, and he has said the new Black Panthers, who you're referring to probably as an example, those are his peeps. Those are his people. These are the people that walk around the streets of Philadelphia yelling, "Let's go kill Whitey. Let's go kill a cracker baby." All right, he's defending these people, and the president is silent about it. It's just incredible, and this election is going to be critical.
Chief, I think we'll get Larry back here in a second, but while we're trying to get him back, many people have said, and I have said, that everything in the world is being done to instigate a race war in this country. Is it just me?
Well, the facts seem to indicate that very clearly, and it seems obvious that this administration really wants turmoil in every place they can possibly find it. The more turmoil there is, then the more we're going to have to rely on them to solve it. The more taxes there are, we have to rely on them to fix all of our problems, because it's just going to ruin jobs. It's just a never-ending agenda of things to try to disrupt and destroy America. But I also want to not just blame them so much. I want to go back to this GOP thing. In our last Senate primary here in Indiana, I heard prominent Republicans talking about the Senate race here with Dick Lugar and Dick Murdoch, Richard Murdoch. And the comment was made that they wanted Lugar because they thought he would more easily defeat a Democrat candidate. They couldn't care less about how he voted on the issue. They couldn't care less about how liberal that he was, only that he was in office. So until the GOP takes a stance against these issues, it's just going to be us complaining about it and nothing getting done about it.
Well, but Richard Lugar has been retired.
That's
Murdoch
true.
is the candidate because the GOP establishment doesn't control the voters.
I'm just making this as a one case example of what's happening in the whole country. That's all.
I agree with you totally. All right. Well, we'll see if we have Larry back here in a second, but I want to talk about an IRS factoid that came out. The percentage of U.S. taxpayers reporting adjusted gross income exceeding $200,000 who paid no U.S. income taxes is 0.53%. In other words, 1 out of 189 people. All right, Larry, you there?
I sure am.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
True
Stuff happens.
equipment failure.
There we go. I was just talking about the fact that the IRS says now only 1 out of 189 people making $200,000 a year or more, adjusted gross income, is paying no taxes. And yet, you hear the left saying that it's not fair. The reality is, people making $200,000 a year or more pay probably 75 to 80% of all the taxes paid in this country, and you have almost half the people that pay none.
And the other thing that I should be put in front of us, I think, besides the amount that these folks are actually paying, is that fairness. Whose fairness? What's fair about taking taxes from anybody over the what's needed to pay for the Defense Department? And really, that's about all we ought to be financing at the federal level. And so we should be targeting about a 9% operation, 9% of our income going to the federal government, so that it shows that we understand that it's less important than the tithe that we should be giving to God.
And the reality is, we have a government and now an administration that's claiming that they're not really spenders. They want to take that 25% increase in the federal budget that was voted in as a baseline and saying they haven't increased it much over that. Dave, your thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts are that this is strictly a political struggle. You know, it's war on the rich, also known as taxpayers. Okay, and when they get more of them who are not paying taxes, railing against the rich who are paying for their entitlements, and then vote themselves a president like Obama again, may God forgive me saying that, we're done as a country. We're Greece, we're Europe, we're just done. And I don't know if there's any getting it back, because you know what? The rich are going to leave.
That's what they've done.
They're going to go somewhere else.
That's what they've done in several states. Larry, go ahead.
Well, I think that this election is going to turn on that very concern. There's a lot of people, I think, that are gearing up to take the country back. It'll be a very hopeful sign if Ted Cruz is able to force a runoff election tonight in Texas against the establishment guy, Duchrist. Also, Steve Stockman is running to return to the Congress after about a decade and a half being out. But there's a wonderful district that he's now in, and he's competing for that. Those will be two very important elections where if we can see both of those candidates get into a runoff, I think one-on-one they have an excellent chance of coming to the Congress. So if the Tea Party is still alive and kicking, we're going to see vital signs in Texas tonight. Coming up soon in Utah is a primary between Horribilis Orrin Hatch, who turned into a perfect liberal, being opposed by former State Senator Dan Lillienquist. These are some of the elections that are standing before us. Also tonight, well, in a week from now, we're hoping that we're going to see Governor Walker retained by the voters of Wisconsin. Right now, the polling is very hopeful that he's going to do that. And that's really an interesting indicator, because Wisconsin has been at best a purple state. It's been dominated by the Democrats until 2010. And it looks as if they are going to have their head handed to them. That will be a sign that the Tea Party is very much alive and well. So between tonight and next Tuesday night, hopefully we're going to see some signs of growing, vital signs, growing life of the Tea Party.
Larry, sorry we had a little problem getting you on. We're out of time, but we look forward to having you back in a couple of weeks. Larry wants you to go to gunowners.org, as do I, and sign up for the updates. They keep you abreast of all the Second Amendment related issues. And Larry, thanks so much for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, Sam.
Always
see you, Larry.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll be back shortly. We'll take a break and be back with Major General Jerry Curry here on Talk to Solomon. Do you have a cell phone? I do. In fact, everyone I know does. There's only one problem with cell phones. They're too damn high. You remember that guy. With me is Ted Williams, one of America's experts on cell phones, and a guy who's been responsible, along with his company, for hundreds of thousands of people saving money on cell phones. Ted, thank you for joining us. Talk to us.
Well, I tell you, Stan, right now, every dollar a person can save is a dollar earned. I'm telling you, in this economy, the price of gas and the unsure situation with employment, our business is tailor-made, and our cell phone packages are tailor-made to help everyone out.
All right, let's state a few facts. Unlimited service isn't unlimited service anymore. Right or wrong?
It's right for a lot of the big carriers that you're familiar with, but our company has got truly unlimited talk, text, and web. We don't slow speeds down. We don't charge you after 1 or 2 gigabytes. It's truly unlimited, running on a nationwide network with roaming options if people want it.
And to get unlimited service, which many people use today in their business, you're going to spend $120, $130, $140. How do you compare?
We've got plans that start at $20 with rollover minutes, and our truly unlimited talk, text, and web plan is $59 a month. Again, no limits on the data, and the exciting thing is you can earn, as a customer, you can earn free service by simply referring a few customers to us. That earns you free service potentially for the rest of your life.
Now, let me make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Without paying money, without being in the business, simply, if you're a customer, at whatever the customer costs are, and I assume there are no deposits or that type of thing, that if you refer a few friends and they get service, you can earn free service for yourself?
Absolutely. It's, as you said, no contract, no deposit, no credit check. And we have many payment options. They can be auto-billed, auto-debited, phone in and make your payment over the phone, or, a lot of options on how to pay the bill. But truly unlimited talk, text, and web available to you for $59 a month, and if you refer a few friends, totally free.
Now, 2 other questions. You said roaming is an option. How much does it cost?
If you have unlimited nationwide roaming, it would be an additional $20 if you
So
if
you're,
you need
you're
it.
still
But-
only $79.
Correct. But you may not need it because we are on the nationwide network.
Okay. And the second thing is, do you only have dial-up phones that you have to carry in a suitcase, or do you actually have the latest and greatest Droid phones?
We have Android phones are the hottest selling items right now on our site, but we also cater to those people that all they have a need for is a simple flip phone. So you can go from the top of the line phone to a free phone.
And are you competitive on those prices?
Absolutely. The phones, most people don't realize this, but the phone prices you hear on television are tied into contracts. We don't have a contract. So our phone, you buy it, you own it, and you pay the real price. The way you can find out how competitive it is simply ask any of those big 3 or 4 companies, what is the price of the phone if I don't have to sign a contract? And they'll tell you many of those Android phones are $400.
There you go. All right, folks, you can get more information by dialing 1-800-299-8362, or just go to cpnlive.com and click on the icon that says Get Free Phone Service. Free. Free. I can afford free. Can you?
Free is good.
Thanks.